Awesome, Bess. And welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. This is a bonus. Jonathan Maberry agreed to hang out with us for like another 15 minutes, answer some questions. This last hour, we were doing the podcast, so you can catch all of that if you just missed it. It'll be on the youtube.com/Adam Messer or the AdamMesserShow.com. Jonathan, thanks a lot for hanging out with us for this little bonus round.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. One of the things I love about the business-minded professionals, and one of the things that I feel like you have shown with that is a dedication to learning and sharing. And because there are a lot of folks out there who are very guarded, and obviously, you don't want to give away your privacy and your personal information, all that stuff. I'm not talking about that, but there are a lot of people out there who don't want to share the craft, and they don't want to share like the ins and the things, the tools that you need to be successful. And one of the things I noticed with you is that you are like, hey, we need more people out here, all hands on deck. Let's get people up to speed. That's a nice, refreshing thing, because I haven't seen a lot of that in the industry so far. There are a lot of professionals out there, but there are not a lot of professionals who are like, hey, let's get everybody up to speed. Let's show these people, let's show the folks, the standard skill set. I don't want to say inspired, but what gave you that oomph or whatever to say, hey, I'm going to give back. And I want to do this, especially with the business side of things and helping people get to where they need to be with their skill sets.
A lot of it comes from my experiences with Ray Bradbury and Richard Matheson. They didn't need to help me at all. I was just some kid.
Yeah.
The fact that they decided that they could give me some advice, and that it might be worth their time to do it because it might help somebody actually get somewhere in the field. That's proof that we all do better when we all help each other. And they were very generous human beings to begin with. It was just basically, I received generous help, and it would feel really weird not to want to share the benefits of something like that. But also, it's really fun to see somebody else make their step to get that deal, or to get a better deal next time, or whatever it is. It's fun. It's like one of our own team has just scored the goal. We don't have to score it all the time. Just knowing that people like us are out there doing well, what's not to celebrate? And that just makes the whole process fun.
I think that's a great philosophy, and in life in general, not just necessarily publishing, but I always like the folks that they celebrate their friends' successes or their wins, because there are a lot of, honestly, there's a lot of people out there who are jealous, of other people, and they're okay with you being good or succeeding as long as you're not doing better than them, but.
Let me talk about that for a second, because those people tend to get noticed more, but they are not the majority.
Right.
No, they're not the majority. There are, as has been explained to me when I was a kid, and I've seen it myself. There are two camps in the writing world. One camp, very vocal, and appears large, but it is not the dominant one. They believe that if you help other writers, that there's only a finite number of opportunities. You help another writer, and they're going to take your opportunity. You won't get it. And that's a very fear-based approach to things, and fear should not play any part in anyone's business plan. That's not based on optimism. It's based on a feeling of lack or insecurity, whatever. And it's not a good business plan. The other camp believes that if you help, if writers help other writers get into the biz and help them be good at it, more good books will get written, more people will be drawn to writing, and as a result, all of publishing will prosper. So one is fear-based, one is optimism-based. I sure as hell don't want to ever be defined by fear.
No. And I think, and we didn't talk about this, but your background in martial arts and jiu-jitsu, every person that I've ever known that is centered in that, they are more humble, I think, because they understand there's a difference between like helping and hurting other people, and living out of fear versus abundance. you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a philosophy that I've seen a lot because I did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for a while. I did Ryoke Kempo for a while. I didn't master either one of them, but I was around a lot of good teachers. And
Hmm.
that's one of the things that I feel like, a good teacher, like you're talking, what the principles that you're sharing and you're talking about are the same principles that I hear from really good teachers.
Well, I mean, generosity is a quality that we should all aspire to. And if you look at I'm my background is Japanese jiu-jitsu. If you look at the tenets of Bushido, the code of the samurai, um, it isn't about beating the other guy. Their ethical code is all about benevolence, honor, loyalty, trust.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the qualities that make a strong person. Well, if those are the qualities that the samurai defined as the core of strength, and we know that the samurai were pretty tough people. Um, we should take a look at applying that to our own lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I've tried to do that, partly because of my martial arts upbringing, and partly because of the generosity of spirit that was engendered within me by meeting people and like Ray Bradbury and Richard Matheson.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful gift that you were given and that you give. I think it's just wonderful because there are a lot of folks out there, and it's so invigorating to talk with other people. Because like the level of professionalism that you have and the level of success that you've had, you know, it's a great way to look and say, hey, that's a milestone. I would like to take my career and to develop it this way or that way or whatever. And one of the things I like what you said too about we need more people in the industry because like let's just say there's a perennial best-selling author sells a book a year, like with your Joe Ledger stuff, you got that book, you can only write so many of those books at one time, right?
Right.
But the reader who likes that genre, they're going to read a lot more than just one book at one time, right? They're going to have multiple books in a year that they're going to want to read. And if they like Joe Ledger, they might like Jack Reacher, or they might like, Bosch, or, any of these other characters that are in the same kind of genre, just like with the zombie stuff, or the vampire stuff or whatever. If they like that genre, like for example, What We Do in the Shadows is a TV series that I really like. It's a goofy, mockumentary vampire story.
Right.
But I know that it's not a serious hardcore show like Blade or something like that. Um, there's gonna be a need because entertainment and content. One person can't do it all. So
Right.
I love the spirit that you share. Like, hey, let's try to help people out and get them up to speed and get them because there's no substitute. They still have to write it. You can give them all the tools. It's not like you're writing it for them, but
Yeah, and it's important because we want to build a community of writers. We want everyone to be successful, and there's no reason that they can't be. So if we have something we can share with them, they may have something they can share with us, and that kind of networking is not only crucial, but it's the way in which real friendships are built too.
right.
And the writing community is a community. Not everyone is a member of it, but it is open to everyone, and that's the thing, that once they realize they don't have to be defensive about what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
they can kind of open up and say, oh, all right, let me join that community, because these people are, even if they're not writing the same genre, they're still doing the same basic thing as me. Let's celebrate that sameness, that shared vision, rather than try to pretend that we're the only ones who have it or only ones who deserve it.
Yeah, I have seen that as well with some authors who are like really defensive about their readership. And one of the great examples though that I saw this last year of collaborating with other authors and building a community around that. I talked with Mary Kay Andrews recently, and all of I'm sure it was the same thing with you. The book tours and the other things halted. Nobody was doing anything,
Right.
and these indie bookstores and small bookstores and even the large bookstores, the readers they flocked to, just like with movies and the online stuff. These readers were like, hey, I still, they started reading more because they're at home more. And Mary Kay Andrews and I think it was 4 other authors, they collaborated, and then they said, hey, we're going to make, kind of like with your Writers Coffee House, they made a group called Friends in Fiction.
Right.
Because they write in the same genre, and their readers were like, hey, we want to keep in touch, and we can't do these things or whatever. But I've noticed that with a lot of other groups as well, and that's one of the ones. And and like I said, I'm new to you, and I'm new to the Writer Coffee House and all. But I like what I see, and I see the same kind of principles there. Was that one of the reasons why you decided to push that more and like say, hey, let's get this together, and we can't do the in-person events, but let's because I know you've been doing Zoom events and you've been doing all these other things too.
Sure, we've been doing the Writers Coffee House for 20 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, like for the last year with the Zoom and all that. Yeah.
Just kind of prefacing, there for 20 years, and we for a long time was completely in person, and we didn't want to lose connection with our friends and so on, just because we all had to go into isolation. So luckily that right around the time of COVID, we had the rise of all these wonderful streaming platforms and conference platforms like Zoom and Crowdcast and StreamYard and so on, and that allowed us to have that same community be connected, to feel normal, as much as normal as possible during that time. And it was wonderful. I'm probably going to continue the online versions of the Writers Coffee House even when the physical one is back in operation.
Oh, nice.
Physical one only we were only able to get to people in the San Diego or extended area. Some people came down from LA, but with the one we do online, on Zoom, we had people showing up from other countries. We had people showing up from all over, and that's fantastic. That means that our community actually has grown during social isolation, and that speaks a lot to what the writers community is capable of.
I certainly enjoyed the one that I attended that you did, the seminar. I really enjoyed that. And, I'm on the other coast, so you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So, it's one of the really cool things about, technology and being able to do that. So, well, I appreciate, Jonathan, you doing this bonus, podcast, a little mini extra to the first hour. Yeah, I really enjoy it. One last thing. The best, and I want to put this on here just in case anybody misses on the other one, but the best place that people can go is the Jonathan Maberry, Maberry, not MAY, people, Maberry.com, right?
That's it.
Awesome.
And also look for me on any social media platform you like. I'm probably there. And
the Writers Coffee House is a free open group on Facebook, right?
And every month we do the live version of it via Zoom. So what I do is when we're getting ready to do a new one, I'll say, message me and I'll give you the link.
Okay.
We don't publish the link because you get too many hackers and so on. But they send their message to me, I can send them the link and they can join us. And we have anywhere from 50 to 100 people every month.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jonathan. I really appreciate it, and I've had a great time talking with you. So.
Yeah, me too. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to coming back.
Yeah, awesome.